Yeah. Yeah, keep it going for Justin. Okay. Love hurts like leaving home. Last January, I ended my 10-year love affair with San Diego, California. It ended very abruptly, and I had to move from there back to Philadelphia, where I was raised. And for me, that really felt very much like a divorce, because I was totally in love with San Diego. And if I was going off to do something really noble, like a peace mission or helping people that really needed it, I would feel better about leaving California. But it was just that I was totally broke. I couldn't afford to live there anymore. And I had to limp away from San Diego in a 1999 Mazda Miata. That was the car that I had to fit all my stuff in. And the people who are laughing are the ones that are familiar with that car. But just in case that you're not, the older Miatas, they were little shoebox sports cars that were like BMW Roadsters if you didn't care about speed or resale value. And you know, trying to fit all my earthly possessions into this car made it very clear that I just couldn't have that much earth. My planet was going to be very small. And the reason that I had this horribly impractical car in the first place is because my Honda Civic that was really reliable and lasted a long time, A, died, and B, I don't handle stress well. So, and it died at the absolute worst time. I had just graduated from college in San Diego, and that was going to be the high point of my life there. I had been there for about 9 years, and I was going to finally, me and San Diego were finally going to get serious together. Because up until that point, we were, you know, we spending time together, we were flirting, I was going from apartment to apartment, but we weren't ready to make any commitments. But with a degree in my hand, I was ready to jump into a profession and start making real money and get my own apartment. We were going to finally settle down, San Diego and I. And after I graduated, I was just full of optimism. And then I was reminded of this lesson that I didn't quite learn in college, but I had heard about. This word that I kept hearing over and over and again, recession. And to me, when I heard recession when I was in school, it was like hearing about a cold front, you know what I mean? It was this big invisible thing that happened to people in the Midwest, but had nothing to do with me. And, but now, you know, when I hear recession, it means something totally different to me. Because I know that that word is bullshit. It's just a bullshit word. Because it sounds like, you know, a hairline that's just going back. You know, it's receding. But it's not like that because people aren't hair. We're people, and when we don't have jobs, that really hurts, you know what I mean? It's not just something disappearing. So now every time I hear some toothy newscaster in an expensive suit use the word recession, what I hear is desperation. And what I feel is failure. Because months and months I spent looking for a job in San Diego, and I could find nothing. I mean, every day it was these little micro judgments of not being qualified, of not having enough experience. And so now when I hear the word, what it sounds to me is, we don't want you, kid. We don't want your talents. We don't want your ambition. We don't want your education. You don't belong in San Diego. And that made me really, really nervous. Because San Diego was the first place that I truly loved. It wasn't where I was born, but it's where I made home. And you know, one of the great parts about San Diego is the desert, which doesn't get as much attention as like the beaches, which are awesome, but I think is actually just as beautiful, if not more so. Because like here in the Northeast, there's a lot of wilderness lust for things like, you know, deer running in Glen and babbling brooks and fishing for trout or whatever we do up here. I don't do those things, but somebody does. And you know what, I hear those folk songs because I really like bluegrass music, and they didn't make any sense to me. I didn't know what that felt like. But I do know what it feels like to sleep on gravel next to these gigantic boulders in a perfectly clear sky with a perfect moon and feel like I'm on another planet. And I know what it feels like to sweat out my sins in an oven that's the size of the world. And it feels like love. And I didn't want to leave that, but I had no choice. And even after I found a job, it didn't quite last because it was It was a shitty job for these shitty people that did shitty things and treated me like shit, so I said, go eat shit, and I left. Sorry, are there any kids? I should have checked beforehand. And so 2 days after I lost my job, my Honda Civic died. It died. And so I did what any crazy manic person did. I just denied it. And I said, I'm not leaving. I'm sticking around. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to stay here. And the thing was to buy a convertible, because you can't take a convertible anywhere. You know, that was my way of saying I'm sticking it out. I'm not going to quit on you, San Diego. I'll be here for you. But of course, San Diego moves on way quicker than I ever would. And so I had to leave. So I'm packing all my stuff up in this Mazda Miata. I'm giving away a lot of my stuff. I'm disposing of a lot of memories. And that's the 6-minute mark. So, 5-minute mark. Well, so if I plan the story out, here's how it would end, right? So you have a young kid, goes across the Southwest in a shitty car that starts to have holes in the top and starts to rain, and he learns the meaning of letting go, and he comes back to his home, and he reconnects with his family, and he learns to love Philadelphia and gets a Subaru Forester. Thank you very much. Thanks. Oh.